Hello and welcome to the Bandzoogle webinar, How to Build a Professional Website for Your Music. My name is Allison Sharp and I'm the Education and Event Specialist here at Bandzoogle. So before we get started, I always want to make sure that you guys can see and hear me. So if you can type in the chat box to the right where you're from, that way I'll get to know a little bit more about you and I'll know that you guys can see and hear me. So I'll wait just a minute for that. In the meantime, I'll kind of go over the format. And good morning, Eddie. California, right on. The format of the webinar today, basically what we're going to do is we're going to start with a slideshow presentation, and we're going to go over a little bit about Bandzoogle, and then we're going to go on to website best practices. Everybody on this webinar should be in the free trial or just barely upgraded to a paid plan, so you might be just getting started with Bandzoogle and want to know a little bit more about everything. So we'll go ahead and do that with the slideshow presentation. Good morning, everybody, or depending on what time you guys have. We have people from all over, looks like. I'm typically based in Southern California, but I'm traveling a little bit and working, and so right now I'm in Budapest. So it's nighttime here, it's 6 p.m. So I don't know what time it is where you guys are, but good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. So after the slideshow presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to jump over and build a website from scratch. And so you'll get to see a little bit more about all the tools and behind the scenes things that you may not know about. And then we'll leave a little time at the end for a Q&A. So you guys have any questions, you can ask those. You can also ask questions during the slideshow presentation. I'll still be able to see the chat. But once I'm actually building the website, I'm going to be in a different screen. So I won't be as accessible in the chat. I'll still be able to see the questions when I get back from sharing my screen, though. Awesome. Got a lot of people from a lot of different places. Also, there is going to be a replay of this webinar, and we'll send out an excuse me. An email will be sent out later today with the link to the replay, so you'll be able to watch this again if you missed anything. So it looks like we're connected, and we'll go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover. But if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat, or as I'm going through the slideshow, go ahead and post your questions. Or you can wait until the end, and we will definitely do a short Q&A just to make sure you guys get all your questions answered. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So give me just a second. Okay, so if you guys can just check real quick and just type in the chat and let me know if you guys can see the screen. It should say how to build a professional website for your music. Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. Awesome, thank you guys. So what is Bandzoogle? Obviously, you guys already started a free trial, so you know what Bandzoogle is. But just to make sure, we are a website and direct-to-fan marketing platform. So we give you all the tools to easily build a website for your music with no coding necessary, so you don't have to have any special skills. Everything's point and click. We do provide a domain and hosting should you upgrade to a paid plan. So the free domain comes with the paid plan, so you don't have to buy one anywhere else. But if you already have one somewhere else, you can use an existing domain. It's very easy to set up, and we have a support team just in case you need any help with that. We also include the hosting that's with the website as well, so you don't have to pay for that separately as well. So Bandzoogle was made for musicians by musicians. So our founder, Chris Vinson, he started Bandzoogle to make it easy for musicians. He's a musician himself. He wanted to make it easy for musicians to build a website on their own and keep it up to date as they tour and do all the things that they need to do, even in the studio or wherever they are. And so with Bandzoogle, we always try to make sure that we give you all the tools you need for a music career. So one of the main things we offer is music players. Those music players stream on your website. We have a couple different options. So we have one that's a site-wide player that sits at the bottom of your website, and it continues to play the music as somebody navigates your website. And that's really cool because it's kind of like a soundtrack while somebody's looking at all your other pages. We also have per page music players as well. So those will go on any page that you put them on, and you can set them up in for people to stream through all your different songs. You can do preview clips, and we'll show that a little bit later when we build the website. With the music players, we also give you the option to offer free downloads. You can sell your tracks. You can even set a price or have fans pay what they want. That's a really cool option because a lot of times fans will give you more money for a single or an album just to support you as an indie artist. You can add lyrics, and then we have different file types that you can upload. So if you have an MP3, WAV, or FLAC file, you can upload those to our music players. And a lot of people have their music on SoundCloud. So if you do, you can easily just import the songs so you don't have to re-upload them here. You can upload or you can embed the players onto Facebook and Twitter so you can share those with your fans. And also we do have a few other options like album pre-orders and SoundScan reporting for our Pro Plan members. John, you say that it says I lost it. So I don't know if you can't see or hear me, but hopefully if you can hear me, if you click the red button at the top of the page, it should refresh your screen. Next thing that we offer is a built-in events feature. It's a calendar, and you have different format options to the way it displays on your website. One of the cool things that we do offer with this is that you can sell tickets commission-free. So this is a really good option because a lot of the ticketing agencies charge really high fees, and it's a deterrent for fans because a lot of times the fees are almost as much as the ticket price. So when you sell it directly from your website, you're going to get to be able to sell those tickets to your fans. They won't have to pay the high fees, and it's kind of a win-win for everybody. You can also add custom images. So if you have show posters made or just flyers or something, you can upload those to your event. Events are shareable on social media, and then you can set recurring events. So if you have a gig, so for example, every Saturday night, you can set it up to be right on your calendar that way. And then if you already have your events set up in Bands in Town, we do have that integration as well. So you don't have to type in all the information again. You can just sync it right to your website. One of the unique features that we do offer is a mailing list feature. It's built right into the system. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. And so it allows you to send professional email newsletters to your fans and your database. You can schedule emails for later. We also give you detailed reports. And if you have a mailing list already set up somewhere else, you can easily import that to our system. So it's a really quick process. And then if you decide to leave or take it to another service, you can export your list as well. So that's a really great option. In addition to digital downloads, we do offer commission-free store. This allows you to sell physical items like CDs, vinyl records, t-shirts, any kind of band merch that you want to sell. You can also sell digital files like sheet music and videos, which is a really great option, especially if you're a teacher or something. You can do video lessons or something like that. We also offer discount codes, sale pricing, and automatic inventory tracking. So if you have a limited supply of something, it'll stop selling once you reach the end of that product line. To date, our members have sold, actually this slide is a little bit outdated. It's now up to $36 million in commission-free sales and counting. We have not taken a cut of any of those sales. Bandzoogle, we've never taken any percentages or anything like that, so you guys get to keep all the money from your sales. One thing that is great is, having a lot of features on a website is great, but you also want your website to look professional, modern, and keep up to date. So we have over 100 beautiful mobile-ready themes. That means you only have to design your site one time, and it's going to scale down to any screen size that somebody's visiting from. Once you choose a theme, you can even customize it further with our point-and-click editor, and that allows you to change things like colors, fonts, layout. We have image filters. There's a lot of different things. So you can make your website theme look different from anybody else's, even if they're using the same theme. We also provide detailed fan data. We do that through two different options. So we have a reports tab, and we have a built-in option that we created so you can see things like how many visitors came to your website, what pages they're looking at, what songs they're listening to, what songs they're skipping. You can easily set that up in the reports tab. You can also connect it with your Google Analytics. It'll give you just a little bit more information, and that's free to do as well. It's just a few extra steps. You can also connect to your social media services. We have a built-in integration with things like Instagram, Twitter, as I mentioned, SoundCloud. You can embed your YouTube videos. So it's a really great way to kind of keep it together with your social media and your website working together. And then we do offer musician-friendly support. We have support 7 days a week. We do that through email and live chat. So we always have a record of anything that you had questions about. So everyone on the team can help with any questions you have. Or if you get stuck, feel free to contact our support team. They're excellent and they do a really great job of getting back to you really quickly. So we do offer 3 plans, and you can see that in your account tab anytime you'd like. And it's just there's a breakdown that you can look at. Our most popular plan is our Pro plan because it gives you unlimited pages. You can upload as many tracks as you want, photos. You can have as many mailing list members as you want. There's a lot of different e-commerce features as well. But you can choose whichever plan is suitable to you. We do have a lot of people that actually start on the Lite plan. And as you start getting going in your music career, you can upgrade anytime you'd like. So that's it, the section about Bandzoogle. So let's jump into website best practices, just so you guys get a little more information on why it's important to have a website. So the first reason is that you own the address. So you're guaranteed to have a little slice of the internet that's just your own. So if you think back to MySpace, that was one of the first social medias that came out, and everybody was super excited about it, and everybody was on it. But then when Facebook came around and then Twitter, people were jumping ship off of MySpace left and right, and there wasn't really a way to take your fans with you, so you had to find them elsewhere. So with your own website, you can get them to your site, get them on your mailing list, and that way you'll be able to stay in touch with them regardless of what happens with social media. Also is that you own the experience. I'm sure you guys have noticed the major increase in sponsored posts, ads, and just a bunch of junk on the timeline for all social medias. It's really distracting, and so with your own website, you can make it look the way you want, and it's a really nice experience for your fans to see you with your website. Number 3 is that you own the data. So again, you're going to get to know where your fans are from and also what site brought them to your site. So you can do a little bit more promotion and marketing in those areas. And then number 4 is that you earn more money by selling directly from your website because, again, we don't take a cut of any of those sales. Another thing that we really recommend is using our mailing list feature or a mailing list in general. The first reason is that you own it. So you can download that database and take it with you. It's kind of like just a personal address book in your pocket, and you can always stay in touch with your fans that way. Number 2 is the ultimate permission marketing. So if somebody comes to your website and signs up to your mailing list, that means you know they want to hear from you. So that's a really great thing because that way you'll be able to stay in touch with them and let them know all about any new releases or tours coming up. Number 3, it's the best way to sell. So email marketing is 40 times as effective as Facebook and Twitter combined. So it's still the best way to sell from the inbox. And number 4, it's the best way to stay in touch with fans. You'll always have access to them through their inbox, and you can let them know as the years go by, anything new that you have. So there's a lot of good reasons to have a mailing list and be consistent with it. So let's talk a little bit about your website's audience. So when you're building your website, you're usually thinking about it from your perspective, but you should kind of turn it around and think about it from the perspective of those who are going to be viewing the website. So we'll go through these briefly. The first one is your potential fans. So these are people that don't really know too much about you yet. They may have seen you as an opening act for another band, or they may have heard about you from a friend. And so they're coming to your website for the first time, and when they get there, they're going to want to know, what's your story? And so you'll want to let them, know on your homepage, who are you and what you're about. You also want to put your best songs and videos up front, and then try to get them on your mailing list so that you can start communicating with them that way. Number 2 is your current fans. So these are people that know you and they love you and they want to know everything about you. And so when they get to your website, they're going to want to know what's new. So you can do that with blog posts and photo galleries, and just keep those up to date so that people coming to your website know that you're active. You can also offer current fans limited edition products and package deals. That's just a way to show the appreciation for them being a fan. And then again, getting them on your mailing list, you can do that by offering them some free music or exclusive content, something to entice them to get onto your list. Now, the third and most often overlooked audience is going to be the industry and media. So when you're building your website, a lot of times you aren't really thinking about those people, but it's really important because if you want to get into some venues or get onto a record label or be on a podcast or a blog article, something like that, you always want to make sure that you have your website set up so it's very easy for media professionals to get around. So you'll want to have on there some latest news in your activity and let them know what makes you unique or different. So if you have any awards or any special things that you've done, make sure you put that on your website. Again, you'll want to have your best songs and videos up front. And then also you do want to have a press kit page. It's also known as an EPK or electronic press kit. And it's just one page on your website that kind of summarizes the rest of your website. So on that page, you're going to want to have a short bio, some high quality images, 1 or 2 songs, a video maybe, and then you're going to want to have some press quotes, career highlights, and then some contact information. That way they can get in touch with you if they have any questions. Now, in terms of design, there's a few quick tips. So the first one is in regards to your photos. Photos are really important. They will make or break a website. So you always want to use professional photos for your headers, background images, and then promotional photos. A bad photo can create a really negative impression of your music. So if somebody comes to your site and you have photos that are kind of candid shots, they don't look professional, or they're overexposed or too dark, it can really make you look like an amateur. So you definitely want to make sure you have the best photos possible. We recommend hiring a professional, even if it's a student photographer, just to make sure that you have really nice photos, because it really makes a difference the way that your website looks. In terms of design for color, you'll want to stick to a general rule of 3 major colors. The first thing you're going to want to do is decide on your brand color. So you can do that by thinking about, you might have a favorite color. Or if you don't really have a favorite color, you can think about the mood of your music. So if you have pretty heavy music, you might want to go with dark colors. If you have light and airy music, you might want to go with pastels or neutral colors. Just something that really suits you as an artist or band. Once you decide on that color, you can go into Google and type in color wheel, and you can find any color wheel. Adobe has a really good color wheel, and you just put in the name of that color, your brand color, and it'll tell you what other colors work well with that main color. So you'll want to pick a secondary contrasting color and then a third accent color, and that's going to complement your primary brand color, and it's going to look really nice on your website. In terms of the text on your site or the typography, you're going to want to avoid any wacky fonts. These are things like, things that have jagged edges or curly cues or stripes or polka dots or something. They may look fun and festive, but if it's hard to read, it really defeats the purpose. So you always want to pick fonts that are sleek and stylish and make sure that's easy to read. You also want to pay attention to the contrast between font color and background. Use centered text sparingly, so you always want to use left-aligned text where possible. And then in terms of bolds or italics or all caps, you want to use that as little as possible. You can use those for things like titles or announcements. So it's a mobile world, and you need to have a mobile-friendly website. Whether you decide to stick around with Bandzoogle or go to another site builder, you want to make sure that your website works well on mobile devices. Mobile digital media time is now higher compared to desktop. I'm sure that's not surprising. More people are out and about with their tablets and their phones, and they're going onto websites more so out and about. So the mobile experience has to be seamless. Content has to be easy to find, and basically, they have to be able to buy right on your site from a mobile device. They don't have to. You don't want them to have to wait till they get home to buy your music or your merch. Google did a mobile-friendly update, so it boosts mobile-friendly pages and mobile search rankings and punishes sites that aren't mobile-friendly. So if you build your website somewhere else and it's not really optimized for mobile, the search results aren't going to be so good for you. With Bandzoogle, all of our sites are optimized for mobile, so you don't have to really worry about that. Now, in terms of navigation, so navigation, that's the main menu that you see at the top of your website, and you want to make the navigation really easy for people to get around. So we recommend limiting that to mainly 8 buttons or less. You also want to have 1 clear purpose per section, and then also keep the name simple in the menu. So keep it to 1 word, like blog or music or store. And then once they get onto that page, you can get a little bit more creative with, topics or titles or announcements or something like that. Now, when you're building your website, there's 8 essential sections that is typically going to be on a musician or band website. They're listed here, and we're going to go through them one by one. It won't take too long, but it is really important to have these pages. But of course, there's certain pages that you may not have. So for example, if you don't want to sell merch or you're not ready for that yet, you don't have to have a store page. It's okay. You can just unpublish it or delete it. Or if you haven't made any videos yet, it's okay. You don't have to have that. You can unpublish that as well. So you can add any pages that you'd like or delete the ones that you don't need. So the first page is obviously your home page, and it's really, really, really important to get this page right. It's important to have a great header image, a short bio. And a short bio, I just mean maybe 3 lines, you know, who you are, what you do, and where you're from. A couple songs, a video, and then some latest news. You can do that by having a blog or just having, you know, a text feature. And then you can have your social media links on there as well. If you want to add an intro page is a page that comes before the home page. It should be temporary, so 2 weeks or less. It should be there only to announce a upcoming tour or an album release, and then you want to take it down. Intro pages are they don't do really well in search engine results because there's not a lot of content on them. And also, it's kind of annoying for your current fans to come back and have to click enter site every time they want to get into your site. So intro pages should be a temporary thing. Now on your home page, you'll want to have a call to action. So a call to action is the one thing that you want somebody to do when they get to your website. So you are basically asking them something like, hey, I want you to join my mailing list while you're here, or why don't you buy my album while you're here, or watch this video. So it's something you want them to do, and it keeps them engaged as they're navigating your pages. Now on your bio page, you want to have a short bio, a full bio, and then some photos. Different media professionals need different lengths for different purposes. So for example, if you're speaking at a conference, you know, media professional might just need a short blurb to put as, you know, on their pamphlet. Or a lot of times if somebody's doing an interview on you, they want to have a full bio so they can read the whole story of how your band came about or how you got started as an artist. So you want to have a short and a full bio on the bio page, and then always add photos on that page as well to break up the text. Now, it may seem obvious to have music on your music page, but we do see some artists or bands that don't have music on their website, and it's a shame because a lot of people, they come to your website wanting to hear the music. And we've asked some of the people, why don't you have music on your website? And they say, oh, it's not perfect yet, I don't have anything ready. But it's really important, even if you have something that's rough that you're working on, people really like to see the behind the scenes, so definitely put music on your website, even if it's just one song. You also want to have a full discography. So if you have a lot of albums that you've made, definitely put all of them on there so people can see the activity over the years. You can also add lyrics to your website, and then you can even set it up for a downloadable track in exchange for email address, which is a great way to get people on your list. And then you also want to add some context about the album or EP, how it came about, what your inspiration was, just so people know a little bit more about the album. If you actively do shows, you should have a shows page with your calendar of events. You can have your show posters and images, and then you should always have photos and videos of you performing live so that people kind of get an idea of what it would be like if they came to see you live. You definitely want to have a photos page as well because that brightens up the site and it shows your official promo photos, some performance photos, and then you can also link your Instagram feed on there, which sometimes is a little bit more personal, and people can get to see a little bit behind the scenes as well. Now, video is a really important thing that you should add to your website. You can embed the videos from YouTube or Vimeo, and it's a really great thing to have because video does really well in search engine results. So if you don't have video yet, definitely put that on your list of things to work on because it's a really great thing to add to your website. And if you also want to sell physical items, you can add a store page, and you'll always want to have a full description of what they're going to get if they purchase the items, and then images. You can add a few different images. So if you're having a t-shirt, you can show the front and the back, and then you can also add different things. So you can do sizes and colors. It's a really pretty robust store that we have, so you can have that on your store page. And then the final page that you always want to have on any website is the contact page. This is a way for people to get in touch with you so that if they have any questions or comments, they can just contact you with an email form. You don't want to use a direct email address on the page. That's a way because spam bots will crawl your site looking for that type of information, and you might get a lot of spam to your inbox. You can also add another mailing list sign-up form to the contact page to, kind of one last effort to get them on your list. And then this is a great place to put social media links so they can transition easily off of your website and onto your social media. So Bandzoogle, we've been around for 15 years. We're celebrating our 15 years right now. Some of you may have seen a lot of posts coming out about that. We've been around for so long, and we have such an extensive blog that is really a lot of great information and a wealth of knowledge. So we recommend following us on social media because we post a lot of updates, and we also talk about our blog posts and promotion and marketing and really a lot of tips for your career. So you can follow us on these links. Okay, so that's it for the slideshow presentation. So does anybody have any questions before I jump over to building the website from scratch? If you do, just go ahead and type it right now in the chat box. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and load my screen so that you guys can see, excuse me, the homepage of Bandzoogle. So just one second. Okay, so if you guys can let me know if you can see that, you should see the Bandzoogle homepage. That way I'll know that we're connected that way, and I can go ahead and switch over to that screen and start building. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the screen. If you have any questions, you can type it over into the chat box, but I won't be able to see it right away. So maybe if you have any questions, you can wait till the end as well, and we'll do a short Q&A. So just give me 1 second here. Okay, so you guys have already gone through this section of getting started. And so you're just putting in your band or artist name. And your email address. And then you can obviously put in your password. And then this is a cool feature is that you can choose your language so that all the stuff is going to be in the language that you choose. And then you can go ahead and create your site. Now, the first thing we're going to do is choose a theme, and you'll see that we have a lot of different style options. Even within these styles, they have different variations. And also you can go through the genre list here. So, for example, if you're a singer-songwriter, it'll show you just some imagery that kind of matches a little bit more with singer-songwriter, or like solo artists. If you choose rock, you'll see how it can kind of be set up for bands. And these are all stock images, so obviously you're going to be putting in your own imagery. But let's choose this one. This is one of our themes called Zenith, and just click Apply Theme. And I like this theme, so I'll go ahead and continue with it. And you can change your theme at any time, so don't feel like you're getting stuck. You can, change it anytime you want, and all the content is going to stay the same. This is where you can set your title or logo. Right now, it's going to just use the name that we plugged in when we did our project name, and I'm just going to leave it for now. If you wanted to use a logo, you could just by clicking logo, or you can just use the text, and I'm just going to leave it as it is so we can get onto the main pages. So this is your main control panel, but mostly the two tabs you're going to use are Edit Content and Edit Themes. So we're just going to jump over to Edit Content. And we do have a quick tour video that you can watch when you get started. But for now, we're going to just go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is click here, just on the image, to click Edit Image. And this way I can replace it with my own image. And let's see, I have images already set up here. You can also select images from Dropbox if you already have those uploaded there. You can use our stock photos, you can pull from Instagram. So there's a lot of different options available for that. This little blue dot is our focal point tool. This works really well if you have an image that has, for example, just like one person's face, and you can put this on the nose or the forehead, and wherever this dot is, that's what's going to stay in the frame when it scales down to smaller screen sizes. Because obviously on a phone, there's not as much room to work with. So when you're uploading an image, you always want to keep the focal point in the center and don't really have things that kind of go right to the edge. So for now, just leave the focal point as it is, because this is a image that has kind of the guy on the side. You can also zoom in if you had an image that you wanted to kind of show off a different area, and then you can you know, move it up and down a little bit too. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as is and click Save. And click Save. You can also upload up to 5 images here in the header. And if you upload more than one image, it's going to rotate through a slideshow. So that looks really cool. And then also on our Pro plan, you can add a video header. And the video doesn't have any audio, but it looks really cool because there's a lot of movement on the website. So it's a really cool option. So we're going to jump down here onto our home page, and you'll see that we have it already pre-packed with some features that are typical of a musician or band website. We have the mailing list right at the top, some latest news, latest track, and then our shows, and then social media. So let's just say, for example, that I didn't really need this section of latest news. I didn't really want to add that. It's very easy to delete or add a section. You can just click the little trash can and click remove. Now, I love that the mailing list is at the top, but I want to add my short bio just to make sure that people know what kind of site this is when they get there. So it's very easy to edit the columns. You just click Edit Columns. And then I want to do a sidebar. So I'll just click that. And now you'll see that it's a sidebar, but I want this mailing list to be on this side. So all I have to do is click this little move tool and then click right here into this area. And now it just moved right over there. Now I have this area free to add my text feature. And I'll just paste in this text right here. Just pretend this is the bio. And click Save. So now we have this section that's with our short bio and our mailing list. So now we want to add our, you know, 1 or 2 tracks to the home page. So all you have to do is click Add Tracks. And I'm just going to click Track List. And this is where we can add a track. Now here is the link that you can use if you wanted to import from SoundCloud. But for now, I'm just going to upload one of the tracks I have. And you'll see it's pretty quick to upload your tracks. You can also set up custom previews. So if you want just people to hear the middle of the song, 30 seconds in, and up to a minute, you can do that. Or if you want them to hear the first 30 seconds, or if you want them to hear the whole song, it's really up to you how much you want them to hear of the preview. You can also add a custom preview clip, which that's if you have like a voice tag on your songs or beats. And you can upload that here. So when they're listening to it on the website, they'll hear the one with the voice tag. But if they download it, they'll get the one that doesn't have a voice tag. So this is where you would allow the download or sale. And so I want it to be free in exchange for email address. You can add ISRC code. That's for sound scan tracking, track notes, lyrics, and a few other things. So we'll just click save here. And it will upload pretty quickly, and then we'll just add one more track. You can also share the tracks on social media as well with that share button. And for this one, I'll just do a fixed price of 99 cents for the track and click save. Now you're going to notice that it pops up with this alert that says, hey, you know, if you want to get paid, you have to set up your payment settings. So that's the first thing you'll want to do is choose your currency and your country. We do have a couple options. We have Stripe and we have PayPal. You can set up both. For now, I'm just going to do PayPal just because I can use a test account. And just click save, and that's it. You just put in your PayPal email address, and Stripe is very easy to connect as well. So now we have our 2 tracks on the home page. I don't want to have this text, so I can just delete that, and it'll show our latest tracks. Now with our shows, we can easily add that as well. Just click add event, and let's just say we have a show coming up on Saturday, 7 p.m. You can, you know, remove the time if it's like an all-day event. You can show an end time if it's like a house concert and you want people to leave at a certain time. You can set it up to repeat. You can add your location. You can save the location. So if this is a place that you actively gig all the time, you can just save it. You can put your event details, like pricing and age limit. And then you can add your event image as well. Now this is a really cool option, is that you can sell tickets. So you don't have to sell tickets online, or you can sell it through another website. If you do, you can just put the URL to send them onto that page to buy the tickets, or you can sell tickets right from your site. You can also put tickets on sale. So if you wanted to, hold on. If you wanted to give somebody, you know, give people like a 25% discount, you can do that, or you can just change the price. You can add a receipt note. And then, for example, if you have a smaller venue and you only have a certain amount of tickets, you can track the inventory. So if 20 people pay for the event, then it'll stop after that. Now, the cool thing is if somebody purchases tickets from your website, they're going to get an email with the ticket on there. They can print it out and they can bring it to the door, and you'll get a ticket list so that you can print that out, and it'll have the names of all the people that have purchased tickets, and then somebody at the door can check it off as people show up. So now you're going to see that the show is actually on our homepage as well. Now, what's really cool is you notice that we added 2 songs to the homepage and a show on our homepage. So now I'm going to go to the music page, and it's very easy to add those tracks because I already added them before. You just click add, and then it goes into the playlist. And the same thing with the shows, and the shows is even easier because the events feature is the same on all pages, so it just automatically populated onto your shows page. For your bio page, this is where you can put in all your information. We pre-populate it with information about what you should be putting on your bio. We also have some blog posts about that if you want to check that out. And then you can add images on the page as well, just to really kind of break up the text and spice up the page a little bit. And you can just add more text, short, like I said, a short bio and a long bio as well. For the photos, it's really easy to add. Because you can add a bunch of photos all at the same time. And it's pretty quick to upload. And then once they upload, they'll be on the page. And so you can have different sections like live, studio, you can do your Instagram. Excuse me. Now, if you do want to sell physical merchandise, you can do that. We already added digital albums, so we can delete this section. But if you want to add physical album, you can just click add a product. And you can add CD, vinyl, product or service or file download. For this demonstration, we'll just click CD and we can create an album. And we do want to accept payment for this. And this time we can do fans set a price with a minimum of, let's just say $5, just so you know you'll get something. You can also add album pre-orders as well. So if you're not quite ready with the album, you can do pre-orders as well. So now if we go back to, no, I'm gonna do that again. Oh, it's going around in circles, but let me just refresh that page. And you can also make the album available, not available, hidden. If you want to track inventory, if you just have 100 physical albums, you can do that. You can attach a free download. You can charge the shipping price or don't charge shipping. We have a lot of different options for shipping. And then we have tax jar availability as well. So there's a lot of different things that you can do when you're selling physical CDs and merchandise. There we go. So now you'll see we have the physical album on the page, and you can add more merch as much as you want. And then finally, the contact page. And this is where you can add the contact form. And you'll just put name, email, and message, and that way people can contact you. And that goes straight to your email address. You can also add your social media links here as well. And we'll just add a few on here, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll do Instagram. And then when we go back, you'll see the icons here. Now, if you don't like the small gray ones, you can go over here and the options, you can, change it around to whatever look that you like. You can also add new features anytime you'd like, but just clicking add feature. I want to add a mailing list sign up form to this page. So just scroll down until you find it and click on it. And then you see all these different arrows. That's where you can place the features. So I'll just put it here. And now we have a mailing list. And we can also give a free download upon sign up. And we can add people to new groups. We can have a description. And then we'll just click save. And so when someone signs up now, they're going to get that free track. For the last few minutes, I'm going to go over how to kind of style the website a little bit better. So let me go back to the home page. Now, if you notice, there's kind of different sections, where it says edit section. And let's just click on the first one, edit section here. You'll see that there's different options to add a title, some title alignment, and then you can use section colors. And you'll note that this one is section style 1. We also have 3 different style types, which it may seem confusing, but I'm going to show you in just a second how that works. You can even add a background image and then adjust the padding. So the padding is the space above and below the features. So right now it's set to none, but I'm going to put extra large so that you'll see how it works. And you'll see that it added space, around the features. But we can just put small for now. And that kind of just gives a little space around the features. And then we'll click save. So let's go to edit theme. And we have some information here. You can do a video tour if you'd like. But for now, we'll just close this and start designing. We do have image filters for the header, just like on Instagram. You can choose whatever one you'd like to brighten it up, or if you want to make it grayscale. Also, if you want to change the mobile height, you can do that. The header height is adjustable as well on certain themes. It just depends. If you wanted to have a shorter header, and you can do that for the inner pages as well. Inner pages is anything other than the home page. And there's a few different options that you can just add, but let's just focus on the sections for now. So as we noted, this top section here is section style 1. So we would just scroll down to section style 1, and you'll notice that the background color is this kind of light gray. And so let's just say we wanted to make it a darker gray. You just kind of go through the colors. We can just change it to whatever color we'd like, but we'll just do a dark gray for now. And we'll choose that. But now we notice that the font is just too dark here. So now you can just change the font color, make it stand out. And there's a lot of different things that you can do to adjust that. And then you'll just click save. Now, another thing that you can do if you pop back over to edit content is instead of, changing the color of the section, you can change it to an image. So we'll just click edit section, click background image, and add an image. And let's see. We'll add this turntable to the background. You just click select, and then you'll note that it's going to show up right here, and you can adjust, where it falls within the section. And you can also zoom in on it, on different parts, and just click save. You'll see that it's in the background here, and we have an option to change the transparency, so you can make it as behind the scenes as you'd like. And then the scrolling effect is you can keep it fixed, parallax, or normal. I like to do the fixed one, and then click save, and then I'll show you what it looks like. If you click view site, if you scroll down, you'll see that it's fixed into place in the background. So it's a really cool option to add, and you can make it scroll up with it with the parallax option. There's just different options that you can do when you're adding an image to a section. And you can add different images to different sections, so it really makes your website stand out as your own. Let's see, we have about 10 minutes left, so I'm just going to go over a few other design things. We're going to go back to Edit Theme. And you'll notice that we have a, you can't see it now because it's kind of covered up by the editor, but there's a call to action header. Let me just wait till it loads the page. Okay, so now you can see the call to action up here at the top, and there's a section for call to action. So you can change the heading color, subheading, border. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a background so it can be seen a little bit better, and then you can adjust the transparency of that. You can also add a border and adjust the border width. So if you want it to really stand out, you can do that. You can change the button hover color. So if you wanted that to be, you know, a darker gray, you can do that. So when somebody hovers over that, and then we'll click Save. And then in order to change this text, you just go back to Edit Content. And you just click right onto it. And then you can link it to an external page, one of your main pages, a file, an email, an album, a track. So what we can do is link it to the music page so that we can get people over there. And then you can put whatever you want onto the button. And it'll show up right on the header so that when somebody comes to your website, it's the first thing they see at the top. Another cool thing that you can do with the call to action is you can align it. For this particular image, this works out well where it is, but if you had a different image, you can center it. You can put it to the right. You can move it to the top, the bottom. I shortened up the header so it's not a big adjustment there, but that way it's kind of right front and center, and people can see and, you know, buy it. And when they click buy now, it'll go to that page that we linked it to, but you can link it to wherever you'd like. Let's see. The last thing I want to show you, and then I'll come back and we can do a Q&A, is that let's just say you've had this, you know, theme going on for a long time and you're kind of getting tired of it, or you have a new album and you want it to kind of match the style of the album cover. You can change your theme anytime you'd like. So you just click View Themes, and it's going to take you back to our theme chooser. And let's just say we wanted to have a different style. Let's see. We can do like a one that has a vertical menu. We can click View Theme. I have a fairly slow connection where I'm at right now, so it's having a little trouble connecting. So when you click on a theme, there's different variants. So this one is the neutral. You can go with one that's a little bit more colorful, somber, elegant. So let's see, we'll go with this somber one because we have some orange in our main header image. So we'll just click Apply Theme. And then we'll kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So this one might not be the best one because of the image here. Now, if we wanted, we could change up the image behind here. But that's the good thing about our theme chooser is that you can kind of preview it before you publish it. So we want to go back and choose a different theme because for now I just want to use the same image, and that one doesn't seem to work well. So what we can do is choose this one, which has a similar style, like a big header image area. And if we apply it, we'll still be able to see how it's going to look. So it looks good. And so I just want to continue with this theme. Now, every theme has a color palette. So in particular, this is going to kind of wipe out the colors that we added to our sections. It'll keep the images that we added, but the colors, we will need to go back and kind of change it up. And that's okay because usually if you're going to change themes, you're kind of in a mood to change up the color palette and some imagery as well that will match, you know, the new album or tour or whatever that you're changing it up for. And so once this loads, I can show you, and then I'll come back and we'll do a Q&A. So this one has a lot of bright colors on it, and it works well with this image here, but the main image, it's kind of doesn't really work that well. So what we can do is we can just either keep this image and change up all the colors, the button color, the site-wide player, and all these little accents, or we can just go in and change the image, which is sometimes a little easier. And you just have to click on Edit Image. You can replace it pretty easily. And once this loads up, it'll look a lot nicer. And so now this particular theme has some animation on it. So I'm just going to click Save on here. And so what we would want to do is we would want to kind of like go through and look at all the different, you know, font colors and make sure it works well. Since this particular theme has this background image that kind of stays, you know, this one kind of interferes with it. So if that's the case, you can always go back and edit that section and either replace the image, or you can change it to a section color, or you can just do the image transparency down all the way so that it doesn't show this image, and just click Save. So there's just a lot of different options that you can do on the website. So I'm going to go ahead and come back to you guys, since we have just 1 minute left. So let me turn off the screen share. Okay, great. So let me look at the questions here. Okay, John C., is Bandzoogle a good choice to host a music podcast series? Oh, okay. Well, I actually wrote a blog post about having a podcast website. You can check that out in the blog feature, or in our blog on bandzoogle.com. But yes, it is. So with a podcast, you can have your podcast website with us. But in terms of where you're going to host your podcast tracks, I don't think that's going to be suitable for any website developer. You're going to want to have it on a hosting service, and you can do a little research on podcast hosting because they can be pretty robust files, and so you always want to make sure that you have your podcasts, like the actual audio, hosted on a podcasting service. But in terms of your actual podcast website, you can definitely have all your podcast episodes uploaded, just like as if you were having songs. You can talk about different things. You can even have a blog associated with it. So we do have a few podcasters that use Bandzoogle for their podcasting website, and they look really great. Ash asks, how big are most of the websites? Are the metrics scores pretty low? And as you add more content to the pages, does the website get bogged down and slow? So everybody's website is different. It shouldn't get bogged down. It shouldn't get slow. We have really robust servers. So if you build with Bandzoogle your website and you notice any slowness or anything that's having any glitches or problems, the first thing you want to do is check your connection, your internet connection. But if that's a very strong connection, then you can always reach out to our support team 7 days a week, and they'll be able to help you with any questions or any issues that you're having with the website. But I'd say the only time I've seen really slowness on Bandzoogle is sometimes with people that have added a bunch of videos, like 50 videos to a page, and it's just a lot to be on one page. And most people aren't going to go through 50 videos anyways. So it's just a matter of how much content you're adding. But I'd say the standard person is content is going to be totally fine. You can add lots of songs and photos and all sorts of things. Chris, oh, it's okay that you're late. We're going to send out a link, a replay link that you can watch. We'll send that out a little bit later today so you can watch it again. Dawn says, I was impressed with the amount of themes you do have in your stock image library. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we are consistently adding themes all the time and also theme variations. And we also just added a bunch of new stock imagery as well. So there's a pretty robust library that you can choose from. Yes, Podbean is good for podcasts. Also, Lisbon. There's a lot of different podcast options for hosting. Awesome. Host there and have Bandzoogle site. That's great. Chris, can you add discounts to ticket sales through Bandzoogle? Yes, you can. If you're on our pro plan, you can set up discounts on ticket sales, merch, and music. So we have a lot of different options there. So does anybody else have any other questions? Because we are at the top of the hour, and I want to make sure that we stick to our time so that you guys can get on with your day. If you have any questions, make sure to put it in the chat box to the right now. In the meantime, as I mentioned before, there is going to be a replay. We're going to send it out by email in a couple hours, so you'll be able to watch that again. If you do have any questions that you forget about after this webinar is over, feel free to reach out to our support team. They're available 7 days a week through your help tab. And also, let's see, what else? We are also going to be adding more themes every month. And also make sure that you check out our blog, because we have a lot of blog articles and tips and tricks about promotion and marketing. You'll see a bunch of stuff on there. So definitely check that out. So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great morning or afternoon or evening, no matter where you are. And until next time, bye for now.